Amy Steinberg. So happy you're joining us today. This is a song of mine called Burning into the High, and I'm glad to share it with you today. Under the surface, beneath the wake, in the cold black quiet of my deepest place, there's a pressure moving in the winds above the world. It's the sands of time turning me into a pearl. I'm not afraid to face the fire, to walk to the top of the highest peak, and when my feet become weak and tired, I will fix my faith, let go, and let the hardest healing feels its feeling, breaking the ceiling and moving into the sky. And the greatest glory stops telling the same story, rises from the fury, burning into the high. Oh, 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 oh. We all have secrets and scars of shame. The place is wild that we wish to tame, but no matter how hard that we try to hide, whatever's hiding shows up on the outside. I'm not afraid to face the fire, to walk to the top of the highest peak, and when my feet become weak and tired, I will fix my faith, let go, and let the hardest healing feels its feeling, breaking the ceiling and moving into the sky. And the greatest glory stops telling the same story, rises from the fury, burning into the high. Oh, 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 oh. Hardest healing feels its feeling, breaking the ceiling and moving into the sky. And the greatest glory stops telling the same story, it rises from the fury, burning into the high. Oh, 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 burning into the high, burning into the high. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome. Welcome, everyone, to Inner Light Ministries Sunday morning streaming service. Regardless of the day or the time that it is that you're watching this, I know that it is right on time. I'm Reverend Deborah Johnson, also known as Rev D, and so happy that you're with us this day. Special shout out to those of you who are here for the very first time. However it is that you have found your way here, I know that it is no accident. And for those of you who visit frequently or haven't been here for a long time, welcome back. Welcome back. We are community. We are community. Community is not defined by geography or location. Community is in consciousness. It's an energetic something. When people are moving in a certain direction, when they're calibrated at a certain frequency, we're here to uplift each other. We're here to support each other, to remind each other of the truth of our being. We're here to cleanse and to purge and to heal and to do that deep, deep inner dive that allows us to be present and available for the work that we need to do in the outer world. I want to be very clear about that. We're not here just for our own ego gratification or to feel better. We're here for such a time as this. We're here to be able to make a difference. But you can't solve something with the same consciousness that created it. So if we're running around in the world trying to quote unquote fix things, but we're still harboring all the old paradigms and consciousness of lack and limitation and othering and divisiveness, that's caused the problems in the first place will never be part of the solution. It's both. It's both the inner and the outer, which is part of the reason why today I'm going to be talking about inner and outer fruits, because it's both. At Inner Light, we're an omni-faith ministry. It means we're about faith itself. It's not just inner faith. It's not just about like religion per se, because so many people don't have a particular religious practice in terms of some kind of an institution. We go the gamut. We have everything in our spiritual community from atheist to, Buddhist monks, literally the whole gamut, the whole gamut. And it's okay. We're not here to tell you how you have to worship. We're not here to tell you how you have to pray. We're just putting forth ideas, concepts, tools that can help you be a better whatever it is that you are. You don't have to change. We're not trying to convert you to anything. There's nothing to convert to. There's only light. And if you're in a spiritual tradition that really is about truth, like the universal truth, then what you will find is that the things that you're learning and that you're practicing aren't exclusive to you. Nobody has a patent on truth. So often people will tell me, oh, well, you sound a lot like the Sangha that we just went to. Well, yeah, probably. Or, gee, you said something I just heard of the Shabbat. Yeah, probably. Or, gee, you sound a lot like what we just talked about at the 12-step program I came from. Yeah, probably. Probably. And I encourage you to use the principles and the things that we're talking about here in all areas of your life. All of them. In your personal life, with your health, with your finances, with your relationships, with your career, with your activism, with the social political activities, your neighborhood, your family, everywhere. The same principles everywhere. We provide tools for living. One of the tools that we offer every week are spiritual activations. 100 words to change your life. But like any tool, it doesn't matter how good the tool is if you don't use it. How many of us have great tools that are in drawers, in closets, in the garage, some cupboard someplace? The tool only works if you work it. And tools of consciousness have to be used repeatedly. Okay? We have this idea sometimes that we can just like say it once and get, like instant popcorn consciousness. No, we know things because we have embodied them, and the embodiment comes from repetition. So even though we're going to go through the affirmations together, now come back. This is just a sneak preview. This is just to like whet your appetite so you can see what's there, but then you have to come back and use the tool. Whether you come back to it on our website or social media or listen to this again or pass it on, use it. Use it. If you are in any way, shape, able to actually say the affirmations with me as they come on your screen now, I invite you to do so. Life is in a constant process of renewing itself. Every winter is followed by the spring. The bird knows its song regardless of the season. I am nourished and fulfilled wherever I am. My heart is always in full blossom. I joyously nurture the ripening of both inner and outer fruits. I have the insight to replant, even as I harvest. Enoughness needs no coercion. Sufficiency is the natural order of things. I proclaim my worth and appreciate my own value. My life is sustainably abundant. My cup overflows with prosperity and vitality. All is well as my soul continuously rejuvenates. Just breathe that in. Yes. And I'm going to invite Amy to come back and to just give us a musical offering to help cultivate our consciousness for the message.
All this talk of growth and nourishment and rejuvenation and regeneration and renewal made me think of this song of mine called Grow On that I co-wrote with Janice Stanfield. Every entanglement and every knot, every twist and turn and every painful thought, the roots reach deep, wrapped up in history, and the truth we seek is a mystery. No need to hide or deny our scars. It takes what it takes to make us who we are. Grow on, grow on, grow deep like a tree seed unleashed. Grow strong. Sorry, I missed that. Grow on, grow on, grow up like a tree set free into the sun. Grow on, 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 grow on. Look at the obstacles that you've overcome. Keep your heart steady like the beat of a drum. The courage inside you has shown you the way out of the darkness into the day. And now that you know what's true for you, there's only one thing for you to do. Grow on, grow on, grow deep like a seed unleashed. Grow strong, grow on, grow on, grow up like a tree set free into the sun. Grow on, grow on, grow on, grow on. I said I grow on, grow on, grow on, grow on, grow on, grow on, grow deep like a seed unleashed. Grow strong, grow on, grow on, and grow. tree set free into the sun. Grow,
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Amy Steinberg. So appreciate that. We're talking today about inner and outer fruits. Inner and outer fruits. Sometimes we forget first the roots and then the fruits. Okay, first the roots and then the fruits. We're busy a lot of times looking at the top surface. If we plant a seed or something, we're waiting for it to sprout. We're anxious for it to come into some kind of fruition. We're looking for something to come up. But we forget that before something comes up, there's a whole lot of activity that's going down. Listen to what I'm saying. The down to the naked eye looks like it's in the opposite direction of what we're anxiously awaiting. We want to see it above the soil, going up. But before it can do that, it has to go the opposite direction. The opposite direction. So, inner fruit looks like roots. So, on the top level, the outer fruit looks like fruit that you can, bite into, or you can take to market or whatever. But what happens subsurface in the inner is that it keeps growing more roots, and that the roots keep getting stronger. And here's the thing about the roots, is the roots just don't go straight down. If the root just went straight down, you could just easily pull the plant up. Roots are there to bring some stability to the plant. That's one of its purposes. So that roots are to a plant what a foundation is to a building or construction. It keeps the plant from shifting around. But what creates that stability is the fact that the roots twist and turn. They twirl around, they crisscross each other, they go different directions. In the Santa Cruz area where Interlight is headquartered, we are a redwood forest by the sea. The redwoods are majestic, they're evergreen. They are some of the tallest trees in the entire world. Interestingly enough, though, the roots of redwoods aren't that deep. They're not. And there are plenty of places, because it's hilly and it's mountainous, where you can see where parts of the cliff have sheared off, and you can actually see the roots of the redwoods. The roots themselves are as big and as thick as an ordinary tree. And they're going in all different kinds of directions. And what keeps the redwoods up is their interconnectivity. They are literally holding each other up. That's what they're doing for the stability. A few years or so ago, it hurt me to my heart that Interlight had to cut down a redwood. It wasn't like upplanted from the bottom, but I'd say 80% of it or so had to be trimmed. The redwood kept leaning and leaning and leaning, and clearly it was going to fall. It would fall across the parking lot, probably hit one of the buildings, and you can't touch a redwood without a whole lot of bureaucracy and people, testing the soil and all that. Before you can touch anything, they have to be absolutely convinced that something has to happen here. So we prayed, we did all kinds of things over it to keep it from falling and, killing or hurting somebody, because it just kept getting leaner and leaner. So after it was cut, it was amazing. You could feel the vibration from the inner core of the tree, but also it started sprouting and sprouting and sprouting. And after a year and a half, you could never even tell that anything had even been cut. It was so full of outer stems and outer fruits, like fruits. And I use the like in terms of things that are continuing to sprout out, not fruit necessarily that you eat. But all of these spurs and all of these things are coming out, so that within like year and a half, look like 8 feet, like sprouts up to 8 feet, even though it was cut down to maybe like 4.5 feet or 5 feet or something like that you could see above the ground. And lush and green and beautiful. Why? Because the roots were so deep. See, when the roots are deep and intact, all kinds of things can happen on the top, subsurface, but it's still going to be alive. It's still going to come back. It's still going to rejuvenate and regenerate. This is the spiritual promise. This is the spiritual promise. The spiritual promise of all great spiritual traditions is not that you're going to escape the weather. Okay? It's not that there won't be storms or floods or lightning strikes or fire or it. No, that's not the promise. It's not even the promise that you're going to be fruitful in all seasons. That's not the promise either. What the promise is that regardless of whatever happens in the outer, if you stay anchored in the spiritual principles, if you stay anchored in your connection with the divine, you will have resilience. You will bounce back. You will rejuvenate. You will have another blossoming season. That's the promise. That's the promise. So many of us are spending all of our attention on trying to generate the outer fruit, but we're not tending to the inner fruit. We're not tending to the things that have to happen on the inside, which is where the sustainability comes. The other stuff comes and goes. It comes and goes. There can be a big frost, for example, and maybe a tree doesn't come back in terms of fruit for another 4 or 5 years. I've seen that happen. But the comeback will be there when the roots are strong and nurtured. In addition to providing some stability, what the roots do is they serve as a feeder source. They take nutrients out of the soil into the plant. It's the same way with us. We have to be planted in some kind of a fertile soil where we can take the nutrients from it, where we can be fed by it. Our soul needs food. Our consciousness needs food. We and it's more than just being generated from within us. We're getting inspired by each other. We're getting uplifted by music. We're getting rejuvenated by being out in nature. There's ways in which we're connecting and like we're taking the nutrients and taking them in and being stronger. We have to have a practice. There has to be consistency. If you're growing something and you want the roots to stay strong, you have to weed all the time. Not just some of the time, you have to weed all the time. There has to be, every plant needs a certain degree of sunshine, and they all need a certain degree of moisture. Maybe not all the same, but everyone needs something. See, there's that right combination for you. It's like this old joke we used to tell in ministerial school about an argument between a cactus and the rose. And the cactus was telling the rose, you drink too much water. And the rose was telling the cactus, you don't drink enough. But each was doing what was necessary for their own soul. For their own soul. We live in a society, a kind of show me society. And we're always anxious to want to prove our growth, to prove our healing, to prove our progress. And we want something that we can show people. The inner fruits are not for exhibit. You can't make an exhibition out of them. The inner fruits are not there for other people's criticism, not even for their observation or awareness. The inner fruits are yours, very personally yours. To a certain extent, we can't even share them, not even with the people who are closest to us. Too often, this makes us abandon our own inner fruit. So rather than spending the time that we need to spend and nurturing our own inner fruit, which is a personal, intimate, inside job, sometimes we abandon that and spend all of our time developing the fruit and doing stuff with other people that they can see, or that we can see, or that we can participate in together. Even if you have two people who are side by side meditating, to the outer eye, it may look like they're meditating together. You can't meditate together. You can meditate side by side, but the meditation is going on inside of you. And you can't bring anybody in there with you. What goes on in your mind, your feeling vibration, like your tone. So you could have 5 people sitting next to each other. One person's worrying about the bills. The next one is being distracted by some noise that's going on out there. You know, the next one could be rehearsing some argument that's going on. You know, the other one could be humming some chant or something to try to get themselves in a deeper kind of trance. You can't meditate with somebody because you can't be in their head. They can't be in yours. These inner fruits have to be tended to. They have to be. First the fruits and then the roots. If I have 40 acres and I plant some apple seeds in those 40 acres, do I have an apple orchard? There's nothing there. Nothing there. Do I have an apple orchard? Yes or no? At what point does it become an apple orchard? Is it an apple orchard if there are trees, but there aren't any apples anywhere? Is it still an apple orchard then? At what point is it an apple orchard? Guess what? It's an apple orchard as soon as you put apples in that soil. That's when it's an apple orchard. You can literally take it to the bank that the bank will lend you on a field where nothing is subsurface because of what's on the inside. We do this all the time with contracts, say, for example, for whatever, an artist, a musician, even an athlete. Okay, giving you this money now, signing you up now, banking on you're going to produce some fruit. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the seeds. Okay, I can tell that the inner work is done. I can tell there are some roots in you. There's some roots in you, and I'm willing to invest in that. Are you investing in yourself? Are you? And you can help. You can try to support other people, but they have to invest in their own roots and fruits. On the inner. So many times I've believed in people more than they've believed in themselves. So many times I've seen things in them and wanted to bring it out and like all of the rest of that, but you can't do it. They have to do it themselves. I don't care whether it's just something creative or something that has to do with substance abuse or whatever, that to make the shift to have the fruits, the outer fruits, there's only so much you can do to help somebody cultivate their inner fruit. Only so much, and that's about that much. Because it's an inside job. It's an inside job. But let me tell you, here's what I know about the inner fruit. The inner fruit will sustain you. Even when it looks like there's no outer fruit to eat, the inner fruit will sustain you. It will. Just because you manage to get a lot of outer fruit, if you've attracted outer fruit into your life, but that outer fruit is not the direct result and residual of your own inner fruit, you're still going to be hungry. You're still going to be hungry. And it's never going to feel like it's enough. If it didn't come that way, whatever you got in the outer fruit, it's never going to be enough. Or you're going to be worried about how you're going to lose it, or who's going to take it away, or some cross comparison all the time and competition with other people and the fruit that they have, and how does yours compare to them, and who's got more, and who's collaborating with whom, and who's stolen what, and all this drama. It's like all this stuff. If that's where your outer fruit is coming from, no. When it comes from you, when you're in this relationship because of the love of your own heart, you're not in it through manipulation. You're not in it through guilt. You're not in it through control. You're not in it through whatever, trying to prove something. Where you're pure, your motivations, your processes are pure, then every step along the way in the relationship feels like a blessing. Even the hard times will feel like a blessing, because you'll feel yourself being stretched and growing and enlarging your very capacity to love and to feel. There's an evolutionary process that takes place. When things are really rooted and they're planted, they don't just stay stagnant. It doesn't just stay like that. It keeps regenerating. Listen to what I'm saying. The body you have now is not the body you had last week, or the body that you had 2 months ago or 2 years ago. Your body is continuously rejuvenating itself. It's replicating itself over and over and over again. So we think we have something and we just want to hold on to it. You can't hold on to anything. It's like if it's in your life, it's got to replicate. You can't even hold on to a thought. If you're thinking the same thing today that you thought yesterday, it isn't because this thought is a holdover. It's because you rethought it again. You've reinforced the synapses, the neural connectivity in your brain. Because if you didn't and you stopped thinking about it, you won't even remember it. You'll forget your birth date. You'll forget your phone number if you don't keep reinforcing it. The inner fruit is a reinforcement. The roots are reinforcement. Inner fruits pay far less attention to the outer fruits when you're feeling dissatisfied or whatever. The inner fruit, it's an inside job. Just breathe that in. It may feel like overwhelming or hard or like a tremendous amount of responsibility. Maybe. But I contend that it's no harder than chasing after stuff. I don't think it's any harder than trying to make everything happen. Because when you start to go into that place of the inner fruit, that place of the nurturance and the inspiration, you get help. You get support. You're not in it alone. Something keeps watch with you in the midnight hour. Guidance comes to you. Knowing comes to you. Where you know stuff and you don't even know how you know it or why it is that you know it, but you just do. It's nothing you can prove in the outer or show anybody. There's no evidence, but you just know because you're not alone. You're not alone. Take the time. Give yourself permission to cultivate the inner fruits. And I want to leave you with this image. A number of years ago, I went on a wine tasting tour up in Napa Valley. Napa Valley is the wine country, close to Sonoma and all that, a couple hours north of the Santa Cruz area. You know, California is known for its wines. So this was a birthday party, and there's this company that does this service, and you go in this limo kind of car thing, and they take you to these different wineries, and you don't just drink the wine, but they take you into the storehouse, and you get to see behind the curtain, like how the wines are made and all of that. And I was just like absolutely fascinated. The different kinds of woods that are used to store and how long and how many years. And I want to share this one particular fact with you that stuck with me and has made a lot of difference in my own life. The person who was doing the guide, the guide who was doing the tour, said that when the vines start producing the grapes, they are not harvested for maybe the first 4, 5, 6 years. They just let the fruit fall to the ground and nurture the soil. Listen to what I'm saying. Apply it to your life. Sometimes those outer fruits don't need to go anyplace. It doesn't need to go to market. It doesn't need to be sold. It doesn't need to go to some other location for some other appreciation for some that just needs to fall right where it is. To fertilize right where you are. And this is how it's going to be in your life. Maybe some of your creative endeavors, some of your projects, or some of the things that you're just like so anxious to want to get out there, or even relationships or something. But maybe the fruit, the first fruits, just need to fall right there to cultivate you, to nurture you. Listen to what I'm saying. So you're partaking of your own outer fruit to make sure that your inner fruit and your inner roots are deep. It's very different than, oh, I finally got something, and let me go over here and see what I can do with it. Mm-mm. Some of it needs to stay with you. Just saying. Take a breath. Take another breath. Let's pray on this. We're so grateful in this moment for inner healing. We're grateful for sustenance and wholeness. We're grateful to know and to know that we know. The Spirit of the living God goes before us, making the rough places smooth, the crooked places straight. All needs met. All needs met. We're living in a world of sufficiency and enoughness. It's all here. Not a supply problem, it's a distribution problem. So we allow it to flow, we allow it to circulate. There's nothing that we would hoard. And we're not afraid of not getting our share of life. Thank you, God. We move forward with a boldness of conviction. We move forward with courage and strength and clarity. We move forward with purpose and intent. Yielded. Surrendered. Spiritually available. Open our eyes. Holy Spirit, open our eyes that we may see. Open our hearts. Open our minds. Open our arms. Open our pocketbooks. Our wallets. Let us be places and spaces in the universe through which the divine can shine. Oh, it's glorious. In this moment right now, we call forth peace. Peace, be still. In all of the places where there's discord or in inharmonious relationships. Peace be still in the weather. We can hear Mama Earth crying out as she heals herself. And we ask for forgiveness. Forgiveness for anything that we've done to the earth, anything we've done to our brothers and our sisters, anything we've done to ourselves that go against our divinity and majesty. In this moment right now, we just say thank you. Thank you. Piercing through the veils of appearances, we know that all is well, regardless of what anything looks like. So we just get out of the way. We allow it to be. And so it is.
So it is, yeah. Couldn't help myself. I wrote another song while you were speaking. Oh, you're such a genius. I love you so much. Roots and fruits. Here it is. Here's the sermon in a song. If you stay anchored in the roots of the divine, the spiritual promise is resilience inside. The promise is not without seasons or storms, but after the frost, new life will be born. What's on the inside? Are you planting the seeds of possibilities you can't see? What's on the inside? I am planting some seeds. Can you invest in possibilities you can't see? what's on the inside? Are you planting some seeds in possibilities you can see? What's on the inside? Are you planting some seeds? Can you invest in yourself? All the things you can't see. What's on the inside? Can you let your fruit fall at your feet? Or just let those seeds go freely, building those roots, letting those roots twist and turn, create that foundation that makes you divine. If you stay anchored in the roots of the divine, the spiritual promise is resilience inside. The promise is not without seasons or storms, but after the frost, new life will be born. New life will be born. New life is always born. New life is always born. Maybe my
Thank you, Amy. Did it again.
I love that one.
Amazing. Amazing how you can just string all those concepts together like on the spot.
Thank
Thank
you for the
you.
message.
Thank you. We're praying community here, and I invite you to submit a prayer request. There's something going on in your life, the life of a loved one. Maybe it's some global concern or something going on that you just feel like you need some extra assistance. You need some help. We're here to help. Maybe it's something good and you just want somebody to stand in agreement with you for divine unfoldment that you can feel is so imminent that you're just coming out of your skin excited. We'll hold you in that as well. And you can also give us some good news, give us some praise reports as well. To contact us, you can contact us by phone. You can contact us at 831-465-9090 at extension 254. If you want to contact us through email, you can contact us with the number 4 and then the word prayer, for prayer, at innerlightministries.com, and somebody will get back to you, with a prayer, personal, just for you, not something that we already have stored somewhere, but really conscious attention for you. It's confidential. Pray with you for at least 30 days, and we get like the team's on it. So please avail yourself of this service that we have. So there's no charge, but of course, donations are always welcome and accepted. To find out things that are going on, please check us out through our social media. You can go to our website, innerlightministries.org, and you can check out our calendar. We will be doing things both in person and things that are virtual, and the distinctions will be made in all of that. But I want to say now, mark your calendar now for Easter. It'll creep up on you before you know it. That's April the 9th. We're going to be at the 418 Project downtown at 10:30. If you're in person, of course, we will also stream it. But the band's coming, the choir's coming. We're just going to rock it out and have a really good time. The way that we used to rock it out when we still had our physical sanctuary. It'll be at 10:30 a.m. And speaking of donations, I say thank you once again to all of you who take the time to make a contribution. There are a lot of ways that you can do it right where you are right now. They'll be coming up on your screen. You can use a QR code that will take you to a donation portal where you can use any kind of credit card, debit card. And I invite you to consider the recurring option that will allow whatever amount that you're putting in now to come out on a monthly basis. That way you don't even have to think about it. You know, it's done. And it also helps us in terms of planning, of knowing what it is that's coming in, what it is that we can count on as we're doing our program and the various things that we do towards healing and transformation. You can go online, you can use Cash App, you can use text. And if you are somebody that uses Amazon, please make Inner Light Ministries your beneficiary of the charitable contributions, those portions of your purchases that Amazon will donate to nonprofits. Once you put it in, it's in. And it works with any of your Amazon accounts, including Amazon Prime. Just make sure that you start off and put Amazon Smiles in there. Remember that the gift that you give benefits you. It circulates back to you. So if you're able to, I would like you to actually repeat after me right now. My every act produces abundance. I dare to give freely unto the truth that sets me free. I release this gift, knowing it returns to me 1,000-fold. Yes. And thank you for your donations. So Amy's going to come back and take us home. And as always, we want to remind you to take this consciousness and multiply it. Multiply it. Pass it along, but use it. Multiply it in your own life. See you next time.
Thank you so much, Reverend Deborah. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision, and no one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision.